All right, it's Monday, October 5th, 2020. This is your weekly look at the latest Altos research data that came in over the weekend for the entire US real estate market. This week, I'll be pretty quick with the data. We have our hour-long webinar tomorrow, October 6th. In it, we'll spend more time with national trends, especially as we're now in the fourth quarter, and 2020 is unlike any real estate market we've ever seen. So we'll look at the riskiest markets for 2021, which are the most sensitive to the economy and which may have more risks of default on the mortgages once the forbearance program ends in April. We'll also spend time discussing what our realtor clients are doing and saying right now to inform buyers and sellers. The market is so nuts and demand is so high that it's pulling sellers off the sidelines, but it's also a very scary time for buyers. So when your clients are asking, is now the time to buy? Like, you want to answer that question with the best data possible. And so we're going to spend our time on that tomorrow. To register for the webinar, we'll include a link below in the description. If you're seeing this video after October 6th, then just reach out to us at altosresearch.com to ask for a recording. Okay, on to the data. We are down to only 563,000 homes on the market this week. That's just under 1% fewer homes than last week. We have about 3 more weeks of the October buying window. Then inventory normally pulls back, way back actually, starting like Halloween week. So the last 2 months of the year, the holiday months, we have big inventory drops every week, which will reset the second week of January. Just as last week, we are already a 41% fewer homes on the market than last year at this time. And so pretty soon we're gonna have to adjust the y-axis on this chart because we'll fall below 500,000 active listings. It remains true that our inventory shortage this year is dominantly driven by a demand-driven phenomenon. Americans are still buying everything in sight. I know I personally had 2 in my friend network go into contract on purchases last week alone. So many of these buyers will actually not find their home this fall and will start the pace anew in Q1. So by all the leading data, prices are going to stay elevated into Q1. So we know this is demand driven because the new listings hitting the market each week, this chart here, they've been in the normal range for 3 full months now. We had 70,000 or so new listings hit the market last week. And that's exactly on par for each of the last 4 years. New supply is actually being pulled onto the market with some sellers testing to see what they can get. And again, we'll spend more on this tomorrow in the hour-long webinar. We will conclude the data this week looking at prices. The median home price in the US is $352,500 this week. You can see in this chart the extra long seasonal strength in list prices compared to the previous few years. And we have just 3 more weeks of this little October buying window each year. So expect to see prices tick back in a sort of normal pattern as we step into November. However, all the leading indicators in the data are still strong. So there's no price tanking anywhere on the horizon. We're up 8% year over year. And that's actually a good guide for how the year will finish, how strong the year will finish. Note that most of the lagging metrics on home prices, like the HPIs published by the government or some of the traditional data sources, are still showing only about like 4 or 5% year over year price increases. But these, of course, are really still reading data from July and August. So they have several points to climb still in before they plateau. So that's the data for the week. As always, visit altosresearch.com for the full details and latest data. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the little button to make sure you get these videos every week. As I mentioned, we have the hour-long webinar tomorrow, October 6th at 10 a.m. Pacific. The registration link is below here as well. The webinar is open to all. So if you're a realtor working with clients right now, you'll want to join because we're going to talk about what clients need to know, what they think they know, and how to communicate with folks right now. If you're on the institutional side or the investor side, we're spend a lot of time diving into the national and some of the regional data to see where things might break. There's still a lot of consensus in the mortgage industry that we are going to have big troubles come April. So if that is your purview, then you should join also, as we'll spend a lot more time with those details as well. So link below to the October Altos Research webinar. Join us. We'll talk to you then. Many thanks, friends.